When I was younger, I used to really enjoy going to the churches because of the activities they had. They had entertainers for the youngsters, and as I grew older, they had activities for the teenagers, and I guess around about my very early 20s, I started noticing things within the church. One in particular thing that I noticed the most was, those little baskets or thingamajiggies they pass around where you give your offerings to the church and this, that, and the other. So I began to wonder, what do they do with all that money that they get in that basket? Me, myself, of course, I was very young, so most I put in was maybe a couple of dollars my folks gave me. Or, yeah, they gave me about a couple dollars or some loose change or whatever. And I started to notice my folks did not go to church. Mainly 99.99% of the time, I had to go because my father said I had to go. But my mother was the one that took us there and brought us back. Or my father would drop us off, then come back after the service was over, and, picked us up. But as I got older, I still went until, like I said, my early 20s. But as I got into my 20s, well, it was prior to that, probably my late teens, I began to ask the question about that basket going around. The older I got, it seems like the more times it would go around within the congregation. So, me being a young cat, I began to wonder, what do they do with all this money? It wasn't a very large church at all. Maybe 100, maybe I might be pushing it, maybe about 200. But if everybody within that congregation, mainly the adults, gave at least $5. $5 times what? 200. That's a lot of money every Sunday. But I noticed that the preacher, he might read out of the scriptures, literally just read. Not study, but read. You wouldn't know the only thing you probably wouldn't know is what book he was in. He'll start off by saying, in the book of so-and-so and so-and-so, but he would never give a verse or chapter or anything. He'll pick up that book and read out of it for about 2 minutes or so. Then he went into his act. Immediately following that, and which went on for at least 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Then you have the end of the day little speech he gives. So I began to wonder. I started studying the Bible and wanted to know, what is that truly meant for, since he never spoke on it? Well, come to find out the little bit that I know now, that those offerings were to be given to the widows, children, and those that were in need. Mainly it was the food and the clothing, which that money should have been turned into to help the congregation. Now I notice, and I'm well past 20 at this time in my life, that you have churches with congregations reaching into the thousands. I mean, basketball stadium size. I mean, shoot, even bigger than that, football stadium style. As I said, as I stated earlier, that I began to want to know what all this money was for, and I found out because it states it in Scripture. It's supposed to be food, offerings to the widows and children and those in need, food and clothing, mainly food, so people wouldn't starve to death. So I started asking questions about that and other things. And I guess I asked too many questions. One day I got up and asked a question about the offerings and how many times that plate went around. Well, I'll tell you this, I don't think that preacher appreciated me reading that verse out of Scripture about what it truly means. Now, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I like to study the Bible, as they call it, which is scriptures, you know. And then it went on from there. I started wondering, why does the Bible begin to make reference to other books that are not in the book? The Apocrypha, the Book of Wars, it goes on and on. But anyway, or should I say, anywho, that was my primary reason for being literally, physically removed from the church. Not that I was fighting, mind you, because those were some pretty big guys. And at that age, it just, 2 and 2 add up to 4. I struggled, they gonna beat the crap out of me. But I went out the door with both arms hiked up, one on one side and one on the other side. Security, mind you. Just tripping.